In this WrestleTalk news, Mandy Rose Impact bound, Vince McMahon return looking quite likely, and another update on how Sasha Banks and WWE talks fell through, plus loads more, so subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, this week in wrestling has taught me one thing, and that is never try to finish the script for your big Christmas wrap-up video 1 week before Christmas. Jeez Louise, will Vince and co just give it a rest? But do look out for that video on this channel on Christmas Day, and that is a subtle plug. Subtle plug. Because this week saw Vince McMahon, accused as he is of multiple counts of sexual misconduct and also bad business stuff, say that he would like to return to WWE. Meanwhile, WWE evoked the spirit of Vincemas by releasing Mandy Rose from her WWE contract after they found out the kind of content she had been posting to her fan time page. Once again, proving that they are perfectly allowed to profit from a woman's Vaseline-lensed sexuality, but said woman is not. Rose was actually fairly defiant in her release, thanking fans and saying her page is still up, so she's probably making some serious cheddar from it. But it does raise the question of which promotion will look to sign Rose now her time in the E is over. Well, that might have been answered as on Busted Open Radio, Tommy Dreamer said that Impact would love to have her. He said, yes, if she doesn't go to AEW, 1000% Impact would love to have you because you're a star and you're great in the ring. And if AEW doesn't jump on that, hell, Impact will. Hey, Mandy Rose, call me, text me, DM me. After discovering the types of things that Mandy had been posting on her fan time page, it was said that those within WWE thought that she had gone way over the line. But now, with Mandy on her way out, it does raise the question of what will become of her stable toxic attraction. Here's my pitch: rename themselves Toxic Management in protest. Well, Gigi Dolin and JCJ may not need to be that worried though, as Fightful Select are reporting that the pair have impressed some people of influence within the company during their main roster appearances. So hopefully this should mean that even with Rose gone, the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions will still get featured plenty on WWE programming and, you know, not just hidden away while WWE waits for this whole thing to blow over. One person they should be hiding away, for like ever, is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who had a wild year of sexual misconduct allegations leveled against him, lawsuits, SEC filings, and an eventual it's just time for me to retire retirement. However, Vince also crawled out of the woodwork this week to say that he had got some bad advice and was looking to make a comeback. And then the idea is reportedly not very appealing to those still working behind the scenes at WWE. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio said that there could actually be a good chance that Vince would return. That'd really put the cat among the pigeons. Obviously by cat I mean alleged pervert, and by pigeons I mean women. Melt said that the possibility of a comeback is pretty serious, as Vince controls nearly 80% of all the voting power as a stockholder of the company. However, Vince would only be able to make a return as CEO if the board vote for it. Come on, guys. It is time for a coup. If ever there was time for a coup, I'm feeling cooey. This also complicates any potential sale of the company though, as it has to be approved by shareholders, so Vince could essentially stop WWE being sold unless they put him back in power. So he does have some leverage. And again I say,
This episode is sponsored by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming and hygiene products across the globe. And unlike Veer, Christmas has come early this year, as I've been gifted the new Platinum Package 4.0 grooming kit by Manscaped. It contains the ultimate grooming regime, with the new wireless and waterproof Lawnmower 4.0, complete with advanced skin-safe technology. There's the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, which I use practically daily, and loads of great stocking stuffer treats like Manscaped's underarm stick deodorant, Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, Crop Reviver ball toner spray, and the brand new ultra premium body wash and 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner set. They're paraben-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and even vegan. Mwah! Mwah! Order your Platinum Package 4.0 grooming kit for yourself, your partner, or Pete Quinnell is very hairy as the perfect Christmas gift now using our link below, where you'll also get 2 free gifts: the Shed travel bag and the anti-chafing boxer briefs, along with 20% off and free international shipping. Please do check that link out, as every click helps support not just us, but also your jingle balls. Jingle balls, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, testicles!
I mean, do we feel stupid or what? So it turns out, despite the cryptic teases, the cryptic posts, the hashtags, and everything else, Sasha Banks and WWE have now just been separated for quite some time. That's right, according to Fightful Select, Banks negotiated her WWE exit months ago, and while WWE's active roster page still has Banks listed as a current superstar, it's a matter of time now before that changes. And when exactly will that be? Well, the same Fightful report indicates that Banks will be available to take bookings outside of WWE from January the 1st, 2023, which obviously makes sense given Banks' reported upcoming appearance at Wrestle Kingdom 17 on January the 4th. Now, Banks is rumored to be set to confront IWGP Women's Champion Kairi at the event, setting up a program between the two. Banks' New Japan deal has reportedly been drawn up since last month and will see Banks reportedly become the highest paid star in the history of NJPW and Stardom. Yeesh! Seems his Banks statement is certainly going to be a bit juicy after that one, eh? Sasha Banks joke. Moving on to a current WWE superstar now, and there has been an update on the injury status of one Shotzi, who was the victim of a good old parking lot beatdown on last week's Smackdown from Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. The result of which would see Shotzi's hand being slammed shut in a car door, the lock, stock, and two smoking barrels approach. Ouch. While this was perhaps presumed to be a kayfabe injury layoff, it turns out the angle is in fact a legit way to allow Shotzi time off to nurse a hand injury, according to PW Insider's Mike Johnson. Shotzi would later upload a photo of an x-ray of her hand to Twitter, revealing that she had suffered a fractured hand and is expected to miss around 6 weeks of action. Now, obviously, this isn't the first example of WWE pulling a similar move with an injured SmackDown star, as back in early November, Natalya suffered a brutal nose injury following a spot with Baszler. However, this too was done to allow Natalya time off to have legitimate nose surgery immediately following that. While it's a small thing, I for one appreciate stuff like this, and I'm glad WWE have found ways to make legit injury layoffs hopefully turn into eventual storylines down the line. Either way, we'd like to wish Shotzi a swift recovery and hope that she can make it back for some sweet, sweet revenge against those two very soon. Shifting away from WWE now, and there's been a major development in the future of former ROH World Champion Jonathan Gresham, who has now put speculation over his future to an end by shockingly appearing in the Impact Zone last night. Gresham, who last appeared for Impact back in April, would return to confront Eddie Edwards, the man who he was set to face way back at April's Rebellion pay-per-view. However, due to an injury, Gresham was forced to pull out of that particular show. Now, it looks like the match will indeed take place after all of this time, as in a backstage interview following his confrontation with Edwards, Gresham revealed that he would be challenging Edwards to a match at Impact's Hard to Kill event on January 13th. Oh yeah, and he also revealed that he has in fact signed a contract with Impact going forward. Now, Gresham has had a rather tumultuous 2022 with his ROH title run prior to the company's purchase by Tony Khan, leading to a reported fallout with TK following his decision to have Gresham drop the belt to Claudio Castagnoli in the opening bout of ROH's first Khan-led pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, way back in July. Now, regardless of what happened and which side you particularly think is right, Gresham is a great in-ring talent, so it's nice to see him land somewhere full-time again. Before we crack on with the rest of the episode, we just need to thank He Can Last, Sean Fur, Longer Than You in the Ring, and Starbucks Stephen Costa for their support on Patreon. Thanks, guys. Miro, Miro, wherefore art thou, Miro? Yep, that's right, because after 3 months of inactivity, Miro is still nowhere to be found on AEW TV. And if you ask me, and pretty much anyone who's got a conscience, that's an absolute crime. While a recent report from Fightful blamed Miro's lengthy hiatus on creative issues, it was also documented in the report that Miro was eager to make a return as soon as possible. But now, we can actually hear that straight from the horse's mouth, as Miro and his wife CJ Perry were interviewed on the red carpet for Disney's national treasure, Edge of History, with Miro being asked by News Times Muse's Mike Sandoval on when he would be next seen on AEW TV. To which Miro responded, "It's up to me, I'm doing anything I can, and from then on I'm just sitting and waiting for the opportunity." So the ball is firmly in TK's court. The man has only wrestled 4 matches all year. Come on, Tony, throw the guy a bone, will you? Now, sticking with AEW, while Wednesday's Winter is Coming had its fair share of highlights, perhaps none were quite as memorable as the former Ocho, Chris Jericho, being defeated by a jobber known as Action Andretti. The shock result came in Andretti's first appearance on mainline AEW TV, with his only appearance prior coming on AEW's YouTube show, AEW Dark. However, it was reportedly his performances on Dark that in fact led to Jericho himself suggesting the idea that Andretti be called up to Dynamite and defeat him. Aw, that's sweet. It's like Chris Jericho's acting more like Kris Kringle Am I right? It's a Christmas miracle. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer revealed more about the match and what led up to it. He said that the story behind this is that Action Andretti had a match on one of the streaming shows, Dark, against QT Marshall, and Chris Jericho was watching the match and decided at that moment, this guy is going to be a star, and so he decided that he was going to make him a star. According to Meltzer, Jericho had picked Andretti out for the spot a long time ago. However, due to Jericho's Ring of Honor title run, the plans were put on hold. And no matter what you think about Jericho, his ability to get things over is unmatched, whether it be catchphrases, hats, and now I guess jobbers. Finishing up with some more news on AEW's Winter is Coming edition of Dynamite, and there is finally some good news when it comes to Dynamite's TV ratings. Because after what has felt like a never-ending slump in viewership, this week's show saw a major boost not only in viewers, but also for that treasured 18 to 49 demo. Oh, we love them. However, unfortunately, it was still not enough to crack that elusive 1 million mark yet again, albeit not by too much. Because Dynamite's overall viewership came in at around 950,000 on average, jumping an impressive 110,000 from last week's show. Importantly, 428,000 of those came from the 18 to 49 demo, according to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, and this number saw a 0.33 figure overall, up from the 0.29 from the week prior, and scoring the highest number in over 2 months. Most interesting of all, though, was the jump in female viewership for the show, aged between 18 to 34, jumping up a whopping 31% over the last 4 weeks' median figure for a total of 51,000. So yeah, whatever you did to draw that figure, just keep doing it, Tony, and people will thank you for it. Now, while the ratings are not resumed to Punk era levels yet, Tony Khan will be hopeful that this number can be a sign of good things going forward. Happy weekend, everyone. Watch Survival Series. It's on the end card.
Hello! Welcome back to our new hit show, Survival Series. Thank you so much for all the support you've given the first episode of this show, where these fine folk all tried to name every WWE champion in reverse chronological order. No! Oh! Fucking straight.
No, it's not.
Get the out of my studio.
No! That's a bitch.
No. That's so annoying.